Hi, today we're going to be taking a look at Dooms 4. Now, you'd be forgiven if you don't know what this is. Obviously, this is an Image comic. This is from 1994, back in their heyday. Dooms 4 was created by Rob Liefeld. And basically, if I remember, I had read about this in like Wizard magazine or something. Yes, I know. But I used to read Wizard because I was like 13 or something. And there was talk about this being optioned right away by Amblin Entertainment. Steven Spielberg wanted to make a movie on this, and the comic hadn't even come out yet. And that was very exciting. And so I picked this up, and I mean, even when I was a kid, I realized how half baked it was. Not fully developed, but there was potential there. But it was like any other 90s Image comic with a whole bunch of cool looking dudes that just fight, fight, fight. It's pretty cool and breezy to read now, but it's still it's ill conceived but very very fun. So let's see. There's four of them, of course. Doom's four. There's Brick. Um, there's Grimm, who's basically Cable. There's Burn and Slider, I think his name is. They all have different powers, of course. And just a word about the back cover of this. So I bought this um, with this like this. And I don't think that there was a fold gate here because it doesn't seem like there's any art to have a fold gate for. I think it was just cut wrong when it was manufactured. But it's always been like this. Back when I was like 14, 15, and you know, so I don't know. I mean, I don't think I noticed it when I bought it, and now that it's there, I mean, it's not like this is a priceless comic right now. So the thing about Image Comics is that one thing that was refreshing was there weren't a lot of ads and stuff because they were mostly, I mean, they were independent. They were funding their own comics. Um, so like inside covers usually didn't have ads. They had like they basically credits, etc. That was fairly new at the time. That was not something I was used to. So yes, Rob Liefeld created it. Pencils by Mark Pasella, script by Mark Pasella and Kurt Hathaway. And it's from Extreme Studios, so the way the Image worked was each creator had their own studio that would release stuff through Image. And here's Brick. And Brick at first seems like a Thing ripoff. He's lifting heavy weights and stuff in a very Kirby-esque sort of. And his kids come in, and he reveals that he can also make himself into sand. So he's basically sand, but he looks like very solid here, and he can turn himself into sand, and they're sliding down him for fun and everything. But then, this is an Image comic, so our heroes are immediately attacked out of nowhere by cool looking dudes. So it's a whole bunch of robots from whatever corporation had accidentally created these four, and that corporation is run by a dude named Cyber Idol or something ridiculous. And honestly, there's four issues here, and I think there's an issue half. They used to do issue half and issue zero and everything. I don't know if they did issue quarter and issue one thirds, um, but basically these characters didn't really receive much of a backstory or much of an origin. There's not a lot that's really explained. They mention towards the end of this comic that they have a headquarters in Vancouver, so I don't know if they're Canadian or what. That would be awesome. But there's not much that's really explained here. I remember back in the day. This is awesome. Burn has the has fire powers, of course, and she's destroying guys. Slyde, I think he's able to phase through things, and then make himself solid to like make be solid to punch guys and everything. I'm trying not to sound dirty here. Uh, so yeah, and then he's all like 90s-ing out here. Uh, that's bitchin', man, and he's all rock and roll at this point. Um, and the guys they're fighting are robots. They're way overly designed, but they look awesome. There's a lot of great lighting here. Um, I remember reading this, and my dumb, like, 14, 15-year-old brain was like, oh, I can't wait for the figures and all that stuff. And honestly, that's what these image comics were made for, is just to look cool, have a quick action pace to them. Here's Grimm, and it's spelled Grimm, like two M's for extra grimming. Basically, he's Cable, and he's from the future too, so he's basically Cable. um, and here comes. So they thought they obliterated Brick, but Brick comes back, and starts destroying all these robots and everything. And there's a lot of this, like, perspective shifting. Um, these comics, like Image Comics, I know people make fun of them today, and they say they ruin comics, and maybe they were a step one, or one of the steps to doing that. But they're very dynamic and very exciting to read. Um, each comic, even though a lot of the characters seem like rip-offs of other characters, they just seem exciting and cool looking. And all of the stories were basically guys come in and they fight, and they're immediately thrown into the action. And you get to know their names and their powers and everything while they're doing all this. Um, and here's Brick again. You should just be called Sand or something. I don't know. Um, the bad guys have to go and apologize to the main villain man, um, that they failed. That they got their butts handed to them by the main characters. They should have known they're going to lose because they're in their book, right? Whoever is in the title of the book wins. That's usually the general rule. This dude's name is Cyber Idol, I think. Cyber spelt with an S. Um, and he, like, runs this corporation called the Dooms Corporation. These guys, I think, the Dooms 4 were recruited by them for some mission. They became super powered, and now the Doom Corporation wants them dead or captured, or I think mostly dead. Um, there's not much to go on there. I guess this sounded exciting to some movie exec somewhere, and maybe even Steven Spielberg, and comics were pretty hot at the time, so maybe that's why they optioned this. Here, Brick is consoling the kids. Um, you know, I don't know if they're gonna hang off. This is kind of neat. Um, a little bit of play with his powers. Byrne is apologizing to her douchey boyfriend that she can't be with him because she's running off with this super team, and there's no choice, etc. Gets all mad and sort of breaks up with her. Here they're flying off in their pseudo Quinjet here. Meanwhile, there's a dude named, I think his name, yeah, Mech Max. So this is a bad guy recruited by Cyber Idol, who is attached to their ship as they're flying off to, I think, Vancouver or something for their headquarters. And here's Rob Liefeld, welcoming everyone to this first issue of Dooms 4, and says, Kurt and Mark have worked up a great story. And he says, like, you might have heard some news about a Dooms 4 movie, which was the only marketing for this thing. That and like a black page that just said Dooms 4 coming this June. The buzz around it wasn't that it was a comic. The buzz around it was that it was optioned for a movie, and the comic hadn't even come out yet. That was cool. Yeah, Dooms 4 is presently, this is 1994. I haven't heard about this ever again. It's presently in development as we speak. Both Amblin and Extreme are working hard at producing Dooms 4, the movie. Of course, Amblin did a E.T., Poltergeist, Jurassic Park, the Flintstones he mentions. Casper the Friendly Ghost is upcoming. So Casper the Friendly Ghost was the first movie to star a CGI character. We expect Dooms 4 to be more of the same top-notch quality filmmaking that Steven Spielberg is famous for. Just think of Brick as a computer-generated special effect, duh. I'm sure all this would be cool. This will never get made now, because no one even knows what Dooms 4 is now. It seemed neat at the time. It seemed plausible that maybe they'd make a movie, but like it is Hollywood, and development hell is a thing. Here's a pinup. Now, I don't understand why you'd make a pinup. I guess it's a pinup, or maybe they just intended to just be art on the back of the comic. But if it's intended for a pinup, you would have to take out this page and this page. It's not a centerfold. Like, this belongs to another page, and so does this. If you want to do a two-page thing like this, it would have to be a centerfold where it's like one page. Usually pinups on the back of comics were like one page, so you could take out that one page, right? And here they're trumpeting San Diego Comic-Con back in its heyday of the 90s. Come meet Rob Liefeld and all the other Extreme Studios guys. I don't know if this looks like a figure of some sort, but I don't know if they had a guy in a Bad Rock costume. This looks like a guy in a Chapel costume, so go face to face with Chapel. Witness the first appearance of Kodiak, whoever the heck that is. They were inventing characters left, right, and center, and when you saw the characters, they looked like a ripoff of some Marvel or DC character. There's a lot more where this came from. I was into Image when I was a kid. Of course, everyone was. I look back and they are fun. It's a very interesting time for comics. Valiant, Malibu, everyone had their own exciting superhero universes. And Marvel and DC were trying desperately to compete, and they're like, okay, let's kill Superman, let's break Batman's back, etc. First ever Texas appearance by Rob Liefeld and Dan Fraga, so lots of appearances being advertised. So here's Dooms 4. You will probably never hear about it ever again, but it's an interesting footnote in comics. Take care.